Our first stitch is called the running stitch. We'll start from point 1. From end point 2, we'll pull our needle down. We just have to continue the same process along the entire line. I've given markings here so it's easier for you to understand. Basically, we use running stitch for hand sewing. It is also used for creating gathers in fabric. This stitch is the most basic and simple stitch in embroidery. The second stage is backstitch. Let's start from point 1. And from point 2, we'll take the needle down. We'll bring the needle up from point 3. And push it backward into point 2. Make sure we insert the needle back into the same point. Here we'll take even-sized stitches. So keeping the same distance, we'll bring the needle up and insert it back into the previous point. Here we're taking all our stitches backward, which is why this stitch is called backstitch. Backstitch is used for outlines and lettering. Backstitch forms the base for many other embroidery stitches. To get a smooth stitch, ensure that all stitches go into the hole of the previous stitch. So, embroidery is all about practice. The more you practice, the better finishing and perfection you'll achieve. So, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just keep practicing it over and over. As I said, backstitch is the base for many other stitches. So make sure you practice bluntest it well. Our third stitch is stem stitch. This is also a part of the backstitch family. Just like backstitch, we'll take our first stitch from point 1 to point 2. We'll insert the needle between point 1 and 2 from underneath our previous stitch. Watch this step carefully. Insert the needle below the first stitch in the center. This way, the breaks we see in backstage won't be visible. It will look very smooth after completing. Stem stitch is used for flower stems. It can also be used for lettering, because it looks very smooth. While taking the stitches, we have to make sure we stick to the line. We are inserting all our stitches on the line. Otherwise, your line will look crooked. Next stitch is whip stitch. To do the whip stitch, we first need to do a back stitch on our design. From the point where we finished our back stitch, we'll bring the needle up and pass our needle through the loops of the back stitch. We passed our needle from right to left, so make sure to continue passing the needle from right to left throughout the entire design. Keep passing the needle through each stitch until the end of the design. This process is very satisfying. Whip stitch is mainly used for lettering. Our next stitch is chain stitch. We will insert the needle back into the same point where we brought it up. Make sure not to pull the thread all the way down. Leave a loop and from point 3, bring the needle up through that loop. Now again, insert the needle down at the same point. Leave a loop and bring the needle out of the loop at an even length. Follow the same process till the end of the design. You can see a chain forming. Make sure you always pull the needle through the middle of the loop. Due to its heavy look, chain stitch looks very beautiful in lettering. So once the chain stitch is done, it looks very beautiful. Practice this carefully because it is a bit more complicated than the other stitches. Our next stitch is split stitch. To do this, we will first take a basic stitch from point 1 to point 2. Now bring the needle up from point 3 and push it back while splitting the previous stitch from the center. I'll show you a close-up of how to split it. We'll take even-sized stitches. To get a smooth look, make sure you split the stitch from the center. since you have already learned backstitch. This stitch will be easy for you. This is my favorite stitch for lettering. Now we learn fly stitch. Here we will work in parallel lines. Bring the needle out from point 1 and insert it at point 2. Don't pull the thread all the way down. Leave a loop, then from the center point, bring the needle out and insert it down at the length you want. Once the stitch is done, it looks like a letter. We'll continue the same process for the second stitch. We'll take the same length for the second. Stitch as we did for the first. Follow the same process throughout the line. This stitch is also called feather stitch or fern stitch. This stitch is used to make leaves, feathers, or ferns. Now we are going to learn French knots. Yes, French knots are a bit difficult, but practice makes it perfect. From the starting point, bring the needle up, keep the needle close to the fabric, and wrap the thread around it. Now insert the needle back into the same point, where we started. Hold the longer end of the thread and pull the needle down slowly. Do this very slowly and carefully so that the thread doesn't get stuck. Here we have our first knot. Now we'll learn 2 more types. Now, we'll wrap the thread around the needle 3 times. While wrapping the thread, make sure not to wrap it too tightly. Leave enough space so the thread can come out of the wrap easily. You can also wrap it 4 or 5 times, but I suggest you practice well first. Now we'll make knots with 1, 2, and 3 wraps throughout the line. French knots are used for shape filling, flower centers, and anywhere you want a single dot effect. Long and short fill stitch basically in this stitch we need to practice back stitch, but instead of even stitches we'll take long and short stitches. So following the shape's outline will take long and short back stitches. After completing the border, we will keep taking stitches within the shape until it is filled. This stitch is used to fill shapes. Our next stitch is pistol stitch. Pistol stitch is a variation of French knots, so make sure to practice French knots before trying this. From the starting point, bring the needle up, keep the needle close to the fabric, and wrap the thread around it twice. Keeping the length of the pistol stitch as needed, insert the needle down. We have one pistol ready. Using the same process, we'll make the second pistol too. Wrap the thread around the needle 1, 2, or 3 times, depending on your design. Now we'll see it in a close-up. Make sure not to wrap the thread too tightly. Otherwise, the thread won't pass through easily while pulling. Pistol stitch is used for flower pistils. I usually use pistol stitch. For butterfly antennas, now it's time for satin stitch. For perfect and smooth satin stitch, always start stitching from the center of the shape. Take the stitch from the outer side of the shape to the inside. We'll bring the next stitch very close to the previous one and insert it very close as well. Make sure all our stitches start from the outer side and end on the inside. While doing this stitch, we need to follow the outline of the shape carefully. If even one stitch goes out of the outline, the finishing won't look smooth. We need to take all the stitches very close so that there are no gaps in our shape. We'll use the same process for the inner half of the petal. In Satin Stitch, we adjust our stitches according to the shape. So in this petal, the inside stitches will be very close-knit to get the petal shape. Once it's done, it looks very smooth, just like satin. That's why it's called Satin Stitch. In this stitch, the amount of thread on the front side is equal to what's on the reverse side. This stitch is like a painting. You just have to paint the shapes. And it looks so pretty. Now let's fill the flower center with French knots. We don't have to make the French knots randomly. Make sure you're following the shape. And we'll have a pretty flower. Here comes my favorite embroidery flower, the woven wheel stitch. We'll be learning 3 variations of this stitch. We'll start by threading 7 partitions, as you can see in the video. After stitching all the partitions, we'll bring the needle up from the center point. Now we'll bring the needle under the first partition, then over the second and under the third. You have to continue the needle under, over through the partitions until the shape is filled. Don't pull the thread too tight, just normally. This process is very satisfying, and once complete, this flower looks like a rose. Many people get confused while keeping account of under and over. So I suggest, while making this flower, just keep repeating in your mind under, over, over, and you won't forget. Once the shape is filled, we'll insert the needle down. Do not pull the needle forcefully, otherwise the whole flower will get ruined. For the second variation, we'll do 5 partitions. Using the same process as the previous flower, we'll fill this shape as well. In these 5 stitches, our thread should go alternately under and over. Once you get the hang of the under and over process, this stitch becomes very easy. Now we'll learn the last variation, where we'll make 3 partitions. The process remains the same. You have to take your needle under and over the 3 partitions. Now we will learn the lazy daisy stitch. The process is the same as a chain stitch. Bring the needle up from the center and insert it back into the same center point. Leaving a small hook of thread. Now bring the needle up from the end of the petal through the loop. So here, 1 petal has formed. Now, we'll insert the needle down on the other side of the loop. Our first petal is ready. In the same way, we'll do all the petals. This is the simplest stitch in embroidery flowers. You just have to make a loop for each petal. Next, we are learning the check stitch. We'll fill the flower center with this stitch. But before that, we'll fill this flower with satin stitch. On our marked lines, we'll take 1 stitch at a time. Now comes the best part of this stitch. On the standing lines we've made, we'll now fill the sleeping lines. We'll move the needle under, over the previous stitches. Something like this. And at the end, we'll insert the thread down. Now this step is very important. In the first line, where we took the thread over a stage, now we'll take the thread under that same stage. This way we'll fill the flower center. This stitch is used to fill flower centers and shapes. Our next stitch is the setting leaf stitch. From the tip of the leaf, we'll bring the needle up and insert it at the bottom tip. Our next stitch will be placed very close to the previous stitch, and we'll again insert it at the same center. Point at the bottom. This is like a setting stitch, just that we won't take parallel stitches. We'll insert all the stitches at the same bottom center point. We'll fill this leaf using the fly stay. From the tip of the leaf, we'll bring the needle up and insert it just a little below the center of the leaf. Now we'll bring the needle up from one side of the tip. And insert it down from the next side of the tip. Here we'll leave a loop. This step requires your full attention. Where our first stitch ends, we'll bring the needle up again from there. Make sure the loop is around the needle. Now we'll insert the needle down on the other side of the loop. We'll repeat the same process until the leaf is filled. We'll also fill this leaf using the fly state, but we'll leave a little distance between each stage. Now we will do the most interesting and final part, lettering. For the lettering, we will do the split stitch. Split stitch and lettering gives a very smooth finish.